let's go fishing. People, when you're in the mood, let's go fishing. Well, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. Grab your hat and get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Canadian Sport Fishing on TSN, brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear, crafted from experience. Ontario, more to discover. Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons, volunteers teaching safe boating. NTI, the most trusted source for digital Canadian marine data and electronic charts.
Let's go fishing whenever you're in the mood. Let's go fishing. Baby, it's just me and you. Head on down to the fishing hole. You wanna grab your hat and then get your pole. Let's go fishing when you're in the mood.
Okay.
Where am I?
You're underneath.
We're tangled on each other.
So
No, I think
Barb,
you're okay now.
lift your rod tip up. That's perfect. Joel, let's see what you've got.
I've got something good
Don't
on
reel
here. He is staying down.
any more. Yeah,
mine
Barb,
is
don't reel anymore.
You know, I had a pretty good hunch on this sunken island we're fishing. We got about 15 or 20 feet all around us. Nice rock pile out here in the middle of the lake that I see every time I come in for landing. And I said, you know, I bet you there'd be a bass or two hanging out right off this rock pile.
Yep.
And I've got a whopper of a
Nice,
whopper of a bass.
nice smallmouth. Okay,
You wanna
bring
land
him in.
this guy for me?
Yeah. You just hold on to him. Perfect.
Nice.
Okay, Barb, next
Okay,
one.
next one?
Yeah.
This one doesn't want to come up and show
Good.
its
You have to
head.
lift the rod
It's
up.
saying,
I'll eat my sandwich.
let's
You can
go
hold my
down.
fish there for a while,
Okay,
Italo.
we'll go-
Appreciate it.
Bring it up.
Pardon?
I can eat my sandwich. You
Yes.
can hold my
okay.
fish.
So there's one.
Perfect.
buck.
Good man.
Okay, and Barb,
here
lift
comes the
him
other
up.
one, honey.
Get him up.
Here he
You know
is.
what? These are very decent. You just bring them around,
Okay.
and he swallowed your jig. They love these grub presentations. Okay, and just a little bit higher, Barb.
Okay.
Bring him up so he's right up here. Good. Come on, open your mouth. Come on. Good. Look at that. Nice double header smallmouth right here in northern Ontario. You probably didn't know the bass fishing is this good up here. Now, how early can the guys start to catch bass like this? Perfect. Thank you.
The season runs year-round up here.
Uh-huh.
We've got a lot of bass in the springtime that are on the beds, but the males are off the beds. Our guys fish for bass in here from about the middle of May till about the middle of October, actually, all the way through the moose hunt. There is no closed season on this bass, so we're fine
Excellent.
all the way through our season. We expect bass fishing just like this. I would say that these are both average-sized bass for the lake.
Now, yours, I would say, is about 2.5 to 3 pounds. That's a nice size smallmouth. I'm going to hold him so you can see his belly. All these fish are so healthy, and I'm going to let this one go. And there he goes. And
This guy's
Barb,
got a bigger belly.
yeah, yours, swallow that jig.
You want a pair of pliers there, Italo?
Well, you know what? I'm going to use my finger again. I like
Okay.
to go right down the hook.
Yeah, it's really cool how you're taking your finger in there. I've never seen anybody reach a hand into a bath to pull them
They
out.
should never try this at home.
Unless you're a
It's for
trained professional,
professionals
you're saying.
only. You can do this if the jig heads are big enough. I'm going to keep them in the water. Look at that. Barb, such a nice smallmouth. Now there's that high-tech catch and release tool. You can see the way I've got my finger right on the bend of the hook. So if the fish has the jig down deep, you've got two options. One, cut the line, or if you don't feel that it's going to damage the fish, stick your finger down so you're going right down along the bend of the hook. When you get to the bottom, push on it reverse so the hook comes out of the fish, and then you got to have the line tight in your hands so that you leave the bend of the hook tight to your finger and you pull it out.
When most bass anglers think of bass, they think of the warmer and shallower lakes of southern Ontario. But in fact, there are many northern Ontario lakes that in the past have been stocked with both smallmouth and largemouth bass. One of these areas is the Timmins-Folliette region of northern Ontario. This week, Italo and Barbara have the pleasure of having Joel Theriault, a pilot and guide, take them a short 20-minute flight from Ivanhoe Lake to a wilderness smallmouth bass and pike lake. The smallmouth bass are so plentiful here that anglers can use live bait or artificials to catch their fish.
Now when you fish clear lakes like this, it does help to have lighter line and to use a clear line. Because even though the water isn't crystal clear here, you said it's spring-fed, Joel?
This is a spring-fed lake. You know, a lot of the lakes that we go to are tannic acid stained, but this one here seems to be more spring-fed than runoff, which is
Wow.
nice.
You know what? Is this the average of the bass in this lake?
I'd say 2 pounds, 3 pounds is average size for the bass. We encourage our guests to let the bass go, and I think I think most of them do it.
Wow.
So we get a lot of old, mature bass out of this lake.
Barb, look how gorgeous these fish are colored.
Wow, it is beautiful.
Joel, these are like your classic smallmouth. Look at that. Gorgeous,
thick,
gorgeous fish. Now, when I said that he wanted this jig, you can see down in his mouth, he just swallowed it.
He inhaled it good.
Yeah, and I cast back out. You had a fish really close to the rod.
Yeah, I just hooked into one, I'd say the same size or bigger, happened to get off, but I guess that's fishing, right?
Yes. I think we're going to get a whole bunch. You know, this guy just dropped the jig. What I'm trying to do is be very gentle with him here. Actually, the jig is out. I just don't want to hook him on the way up. There we go. Good.
Perfect.
Nice thick
bass.
belly. I wonder what they're feeding on in this lake.
Well, there's a lot of ciscos in this lake, but I'd say probably the majority of their food's coming from the crayfish.
Good. All right, Joel.
Another nice bass. You know, these bass are really hanging with this open water structure we got out here. They're really liking these rock piles we got out in the middle.
Well, should we tell them that that's the bird rock where we saw the bird standing?
That is
got
the
a
bird
fish
rock.
on.
Okay, Barb, set the
Barb's
hook.
got a set.
Good
set up.
one.
Woo,
Man.
double hitter.
Now,
Perfect.
here I am. I put my rod away, being the gentleman that I
To
am.
help me.
And
What a
both
nice
of you have
guy.
double headers on.
What a nice guy. You know, didn't this just happen to you about 10 minutes ago?
Yes.
I think so. Oh no.
So I'm gonna
Okay,
get
Barb, go the other way with
The
your
other way,
rod. Go the
Barb.
other
Pull
way.
him,
Go the
pull
other
him,
way.
Barb,
There you
pull
go.
him.
There we go. Oh no,
Oh,
you
no.
got him hooked up with me.
Okay,
Go the
good,
other way
good,
with
good,
your
good.
rod, Barb.
Okay. One at a time. Okay, one at a time.
I think that this is bad, Barb.
Okay,
We're
that's
not
okay.
doing wonderful here.
That's okay. Bring them in, one at a time. Okay, hold on. Oh, this is great. If you can get yours, Joel. Perfect.
I don't really like
You got
putting my
'em?
hand down into a fish's mouth. I just,
It's okay, it's not a pike.
perfect.
Now we got the rod thing. Perfect. Excitement plus.
Oh yes. Let's just
I love it.
bring him in.
Yeah, you
He's
know.
saying, you know what he's saying? He says,
He
why
says,
should I show
He
my
says, "Let me
face?"
go." That's what he's saying.
Yeah, I think so.
He's saying, no, the big pike are chasing me.
So, Joel, I got a question for you. For the number of guests that you fly into this lake, what is their average catch? Like, is this normal that you can get double headers and one fish after the other?
Well, you know, most of our guests in here are doing all catch and release. They're eating a couple pike. We talk to our guys before they come in about bass fishing and releasing the bass.
Yeah.
I'd say most of our guys are coming in here, and an average day for them would be between 20 and 30 bass.
Wow.
Usually, if you got a group of 4 guys coming in for a week, they're probably going to average, I'm going to say 1 to 2 pike in the 10 to 15 pound range. I would say that's a very good average all year round. But to think that you're going to come up and every week everybody's going to catch 5 15-pound pike is a little unrealistic, but you've definitely got an excellent crack at it
Now-
with the food source.
Most of your other lakes, the people come up for the walleye. They love
Right.
to catch the walleye, they love to eat walleye, but these smallmouth are so much fun. And what I like is that you can actually target cast for them, you know, so you find either boulders along the shore, or as we're doing right now, we've got some overcast skies, and we're in
Fishing
open
structure.
water, and it's amazing.
So what are they feeding on, Italo?
I think they're feeding on small perch, crayfish, leeches. That's why these natural color grubs, Barb, like smoke and pumpkin seed, like the ones we're using, work really well. They may not look very bright to us. When those fish, they can pick them up underwater, like from 5 to 10 feet away. Just
It
a
looks
movement.
like a crayfish.
Yeah, so this one's still good. You can see it's getting a workout. It's gotten torn. Actually, what I'm going to do, Barb, is I'm going to take it off because it's hanging, and I'm going to flip it over. So
Use the other side.
Yeah.
Now, these are scented grubs that you guys are using. I'm using bait, but these are scented, right?
There. Yeah.
So you don't need bait?
Well, you know, most grubs that are on the market, they either have salt, they're salt impregnatum, and scientists claim that the fish can detect the small amounts of salt, especially in fresh water.
From what you've seen, is it true for salt?
I think so. I think if we don't set the hook, these fish will swallow these things. Other manufacturers, for example, here, this manufacturer, I'm going to let you smell it because it smells kind of nice. See, here's the grubs we're using, and they put them in an oil, and the oil is like a licorice oil. Will make you want to eat them. Tell me if you smell anything.
If I was starving in the bush, I might
Yeah,
take a bite.
you'd eat those
I
grubs,
might,
right?
If I was really hungry.
So they're oil impregnated. So I believe that those scents are much better than our own human scent on the baits, especially when you're using something that's designed to go real slow, and a fish can come up to it, nudge it with its snout if it wants to
Smell
make
it.
sure, as opposed to a fast trolled spoon where a fish has to literally decide and just hammer it.
Right.
So yeah, so much so that you got to set the hook fast, otherwise he'll swallow it. And a lot of times, especially for smallmouth bass, we have to cut the lines
Because
they're-
they've inhaled it.
yeah, you can't even get it out with your finger or long nose pliers.
No, just what we were talking about as far as the fish coming up right on the edge of the, I think he's jumping.
Yeah,
right on the
it's
edge
small.
of that shoal is where the bass are hanging out at. we cruised right off the top of there and weren't finding anything, but I did notice a crayfish or two,
Yes.
which I'm sure these guys are enjoying.
Yep. And when we get this guy in, I want to take a nice photo of it.
Sure.
For the website. This is wonderful.
This is a nice looking
So
bass.
how early do your clients actually come up? Can you get them in like the middle of May or beginning of May?
Yeah, middle of May is a good time. You know, middle of May is a great time for big pike. I'd say a large number of big pike seem to get caught right in the middle of May.
Right about for the bass.
Right about time for the bass to be on their beds, and we talked to our guys about not fishing the bass on the beds. You can still get the bass in the brush piles, and the weeds
Good.
are starting to come up. So the males are easy to catch.
Yep.
The females are on the beds, and it's an excellent time for big pike in the spring.
Good.
So usually, like I said, we run in here from about middle of May to middle of October.
Good. Right on the edge. I'll give
Right
you a
on the
hand if
edge.
he's big.
He's rushing towards us.
Amazing.
I don't
Look
think he's
at
huge.
No, he's a good
He's a nice
size.
bass, 2-3
Yeah,
pounds.
Yeah. See if you can swivel around in your seat.
You know, that would be the
That would be
actually
which?
all my bass. I've been picking up right off the edge of a
Decent
rock.
size,
Find a
yeah.
rock and cast right towards it, and the bass is hanging out right next to it.
Yeah. Joel, see if you can swim them right around. I'll give you a hand since you're climbing over everything. And I wouldn't want you to get cut on those teeth that are like sandpaper. Nice smallmouth.
Like sandpaper. There you go. It's
Yeah,
all
like
yours.
sandpaper. Come on, there.
Nice
You know
little
what? You
bass.
hooked him just nicely, just in the
Perfect.
edge of it. Look at that. Man, you gotta set that hook
You gotta
harder.
keep the tension.
Beautiful
I wonder if my
smallmouth.
hook is not very sharp here.
No,
or?
we are.
He's good?
An hour and a half from Timmins.
Yeah, I'd say about an hour and a half drive from Timmins.
550 miles from Buffalo, New York. Is that a good guess?
I'm gonna say 8 hours, 10 hours, something along those lines. Yeah, by drive.
Sure, that's a half a dozen or 6 of 1. That's
Yeah,
perfect.
same sort of stuff.
Yeah, and to this fabulous fishing all season long.
That's right.
There is no closed season on the bass up here. Man, healthy fish. This is perfect. We just threw the marker out right in front of us, and bang. What a go, Joel.
Another one of these smallmouth
Good
sitting
size
right
ones?
off the edge. You know, this might have some size to it. It's hard to say with this
Well,
rod
I
because
mean,
it's so light. But
The other ones were all a good size.
no,
He was just off the shoulder. He wasn't
was-
on top of it.
he was in about 8 to 10 feet of water, I would say,
Yeah.
and he definitely wants to stay down. You know, I might be fighting a big pike here. That would not
It's
surprise
not-
me.
I don't know. I don't think it's fighting like a pike.
I think it's more
big
like a
smallie.
bass, eh?
Yeah.
It's a
Did you see
biggest smallmouth we've seen today. I think it's about 4 pounds.
Have you seen it?
I did. I caught a
Good.
glimpse of it.
it? Okay, well you swing them over here, and I'll grab them for you. I've
You're
got
gonna
my
do
line
that for
down.
me?
Yeah.
You don't want to catch your own fish or what?
No, my pleasure.
Okay.
Let's have a look at this baby. Nice
Oh, I lied to you.
fish. It's
I
a
lied to you.
northern. Some tools for this baby, and I'm going to use healthy fish. This is perfect. We just threw the marker out right in front of us, and bang! What a go, Joel.
Another one of these smallmouth
Good
sitting
size
right
ones?
off the edge. You know, this might have some size to it. It's hard to say with this
Well,
rod
I
because
mean,
it's so light. But
The other ones were all a good size.
you know,
He was just off the shoulder. He wasn't on top of it.
He was in about 8 to 10 feet of water, I would say,
Yeah.
and he definitely wants to stay down. You know, I might be fighting a big pike here. That would not
It's
surprise
not-
me.
I don't know. I don't think it's fighting like a pike.
I think it's
a
more
big
like a
smallie.
bass, eh?
Yeah.
It's a
Did you see
biggest
it?
smallmouth we've seen today. I think it's about 4 pounds.
you seen it?
I did. I caught a
Good.
glimpse of it.
Okay, well you swing them over here, and I'll grab them for you. I've
You're
got
gonna
my
do
line
that for
down.
me?
Yeah.
You don't want to catch your own fish or
No, no, my pleasure.
what? Okay.
Let's have a look at this baby. Nice
I lied to you.
fish. It's
I
a
lied to you.
northern.
I just
You
saw a
fooled
big
me.
fat back.
You know what? We're gonna need some tools for this baby. And I'm gonna use the old trick where you go like this and like that. Did you like that spreader?
That was not too bad.
You know what? That's a nice northern.
that is a nice pike. I'd say 6 pounds, 7 pounds.
26 inches.
Yeah, I just caught the back end of that and I saw a big wide back and thought it was a bass.
Now, he may be a good sign. I mean, there's got to be a bass off the shoal. When the water goes from about 4 to 12, and it's got those pebbles and rocks on it,
Boulders.
yeah, it's ideal.
Well, I mean, I don't think that the pike would be hanging out here if there weren't bass for him to
I
eat.
think so. Perch, maybe some big perch.
Maybe.
Uh,
A good one, too. Nice one.
Hey, bass on demand,
That
right
was
here in
ridiculous.
Northern Ontario.
That was sickening. I did not appreciate you seeing that bass and catching
What are
them.
you talking about?
It's the glasses. It's not fair.
Joel,
I've
what are you
got these
talking
as
about?
safety glasses, and you get like
were like-
polarized glasses. You can see 8 feet down, or what?
We won't tell Joel, but there were 2 or 3 bass swimming around in a circle down there, just waiting to be fed.
Well, good. I am going to put my hook down there and feed them all.
Drop it down.
One at a time while you're messing around with that
You know,
fish.
it's not a monster, but to see the fish hit like that right under the boat. How deep's the water here, Joel?
We're in 11
got a
feet of
fish
water.
on.
Fish on. Double hitter. Oh, no.
I
You had a fish on.
Oh, man.
This is when things get out of control in Northern Ontario, when you get one fish after another.
Look at that.
There.
The
Did you
whole
have
thing.
one up?
It ate the whole thing.
Oh boy, I
Oh
think
my.
that was a pike.
Do you think
Now,
it was a pike?
let me just see here. What I do is look for a log, and I lower my jig down, kind of shake it a bit,
Gosh, what a mess.
and it's fair to say we spooked those
Oh, I
fish.
see one right at my lure.
Did you see one?
I see one right
They
down.
were like 3 down
There's
there.
another one going for
Set
it.
the hook. Set the
I
hook.
got him.
That's
I
it.
got him. I got him. Oh.
Isn't this Barb?
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, hold on to him. Here, bring him over.
Oh man, there's another
Yeah,
one
this guy's
down
a
there.
little
I
bit
see another
smaller.
one.
I'm watching my rod just in case. This is amazing. This water's so clear. Now, Joel, you said that there are springs that feed this lake?
This is a spring-fed lake. Like a lot of these lakes are a yellow tannish sort of color.
What a hit.
Tannic acid
Look,
from the
okay.
pine trees.
Joel,
I see him.
these fish
I'm
are
gonna get 'em.
cruising.
Don't you worry. Little guy.
Okay, first guy that I get. I'm waiting for a whopper.
You want a
But
whopper.
that's okay. Let's see if there's another one following it, trying to get that minnow out of its mouth. Joel, that's
seen
very
that
common.
before, right?
Look at this, in this clear water. This is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Now, that's not a small bass, but I'm expecting to get a bruiser to come up and nail this thing, or maybe even a northern.
You want to start throwing out bigger repellents for bigger bass,
think-
maybe?
I
Or
think we're gonna have to go bigger. Look at this. Do the cartwheel. Come on.
so you would say that bigger bass aren't necessarily more attracted to bigger lures?
Well,
or?
it's possible, you know, but when you look at this lure, this fish is about 1.5 pounds, and this lure is about 4 inches long, and it looks just like a perch, right?
just like the ones we were catching.
Yeah, it's got like a mirror finish. So very healthy bass. You look at this thing, it's about 4.5 inches, represents an ideal size perch when it comes to these smallmouth in this clear water. And because of the finish, it's almost like a transparent glass finish. You can almost see right through the lure, the dark stripes on its back, a little bit of an orange belly. You can even see the rattles inside. Because this thing rattles, you can hear it. And it's counterbalanced, so when I stop twitching it, it just sits there suspended. It doesn't go up and it doesn't sink down. I mean, I can see why they just take a run at it. A lot of them have been following it.
Looks like Barb's onto a fish. Right
Oh,
on it.
hey,
Barb's onto
Barb.
a fish.
Just a small one.
Right
That's
when,
okay.
right when you
It's
weren't
jumping.
expecting it.
That's okay. What a nice interruption for you to wake us up.
Yeah.
Small. He's 1.5 pounds, Barb.
Oh,
Isn't this amazing, Barb?
yeah.
All day long, we can get these bass.
Oh, look at him go. You can see it.
You can see all this wood on the bottom, and look at how clear this water is. Oh, it's going into your line, Joel. Oh,
Joel.
boy, that's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, pull him back a little bit, Barb. Beautiful. Yeah, very clear water. I mean, this is like a spring lake, or at least a bay. They're so feisty, eh?
Yeah.
I'm going to grab your line, because I think he's almost done, and I'm going to go down to the leader. One thing I've noticed about smallmouth, Joel, that when you start fighting them, their bars and stripes will actually come out. It's almost like they get nervous, you know, or because they get aggressive,
Like a
they get
defense
darker.
mechanism? Or?
Yeah, well, I don't know about a defense mechanism. Almost like us flushing, you know, like if we get a little nervous. Because when you see these things, when you're diving, they don't have these pronounced bars down the side, you know. But when you catch them, those bars come out, especially when they're nice and dark. Did you have a hit?
I think I did.
I saw that. Now watch this in this clear water. I don't know how long we're going to see them for, because they gone out of
Gone.
sight.
History.
Okay. Now this is interesting. You know, I'm hooking pike. You're okay taking that one off?
Yeah,
Barb?
I sure am.
And you're casting the other way and getting smallmouth.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Same shoreline, same spot.
They're all, oh, there's a nice hit. I don't know if that's another pike.
I bet you that's a smallmouth.
No, it feels like a pike.
Staying down?
Oh, I don't know if we've got any size. Come on. Come
It's a
on.
smallmouth. No?
No, it's a pike. Oh, it's
You're
a
right.
small pike.
Little guy.
And he hit that lure head first.
Is that unusual or?
Well, no,
Aggressive.
it's easier to unhook them if they're by one of the back
Oh.
trebles.
Gotcha.
But that's okay. We will work with it. We will work with it. Look at at this wily pike.
He's helping you out there. He's going to do a catch and release for you.
So now, good. The front hook's gone. That's when it was in his mouth. If you'll just stay for 1 second.
There we go. I got a fish on.
Good one.
I'm hooked up. I bet you I got a bass. Woo-hoo-hoo. Look at the jump.
I saw the splash.
You know, we've got, what do we got? About 6 or 7 fish in a row here, just like boom, 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 boom. Look at this, a nice bass too. I mean, not a huge one, but side by side with all the pike.
Yeah. No, this is amazing. So this is what a wilderness fly-in trip is all about in northern Ontario. You know, if you've thought about taking a trip where you're the only person on the lake, or you can catch one fish after another, you really should consider coming to northern Ontario. Besides the scenery, I mean, it's worth it just to have some fresh fish in the scenery, but to catch fish like this non-stop. And we're throwing artificial lures. Joel's using some worms and a little spinner. You know, you can fish so easily. If you don't like to cast, you can troll, you can use live bait. You can get fish doing all those things. And it's right here in Ontario.
Canadian Sport Fishing on TSN has been brought to you in part by Rapala, premium fishing gear crafted from experience. Ontario, more to discover. Canadian Power and Sail Squadrons, volunteers teaching safe boating. NTI, the most trusted source for digital Canadian marine data and electronic charts.
You know, when you get into these northern lakes, getting small bass like this, Joel, is a very good sign because it means that the smallies have other food to eat. Because I've been in a lot of lakes where there isn't a forage base and the smallmouth bass will just eat the other small bass and you don't get any small bass like this. You know, they're all nice size, but the problem is when those are out of the lake, then you don't have any more stock. Yeah, exactly.
I would say just based on what I've been seeing on the depth finder, this is a very healthy lake as far as a food source.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what I'm marking. I know we caught that one little perch, 3 inches.
I think they're perch because you were saying you were getting nibbles.
I was getting
feeling
nibbles,
them.
this is true.
These small bass are probably trying to hide from pike